Here I am. I'm in my very own van. This is my first van trip. I literally cannot believe it. And I'm about to head to the New Forest. I cannot wait to get into the back with you and show you around it. I'm both exhilarated and terrified. Anxiety levels are probably at a 7 out of 10. I do get travel anxiety, but I also know as soon as I start moving, then it all begins to settle down. And the most beautiful thing is I know that the forest is waiting for me. I've loaded up my dog Sam into the back and he is already snuggled up in his bed, very, very comfortable. So you'll get to meet him as well, and also the absolutely gorgeous van interior. So we're going to make a stop via the supermarket to stock up, and then it's straight to the forest. Right, I made it to the supermarket. I did drive the first mile with the handbrake on, and I couldn't seem to release it whilst driving, so I found somewhere to pull over, took the handbrake off. But other than that, it felt really good to drive the van. And it was so interesting, like I drove through a village and I saw a woman packing this really cool looking bike onto this dinky looking car, and I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one heading off on an adventure. And it really reminded me of how important it is to make that time to get out and about, to really get out of that usual daily routine. So today is my Friday, which is my away from the desk day. It could be a creative day, it could be a healing day, and it could be an adventure day. And so as I was driving, because of my travel anxiety, I was just doing lots of lovely slow deep breathing. So still feeling nervous, still feeling shaky, but also just feeling so full of love for the life that I'm living, and the fact that the trees have really guided me to this point to buy a van. And I'm so looking forward to an evening in the forest and really just the next chapter of life as a van owner. I've arrived at the forest at one of my favourite spots, and let's go inside the van. What I love is that you can just come straight into the space, and the kitchen's on that side, and you can see that it's separate from the cab, which I also really like. I've had a couple of van hires where the cab's been open to the living space and it doesn't feel as cozy, so this for me is just gorgeous. And while I'm driving, as I was, there's a beautiful little dog spot, so I'm going to let my little pup out. So you're going to get to meet Sam. So there's the little dog spot, and he's just really cozy in his bed. Here's my little pup Sam. So he'll be able, while we're parked up, he'll be able to come into the main living space. Hey bud. There we go. So as you can see, the bed's up above, and then what I also really love about this van is just the amount of storage space. There's so much storage. I honestly can't quite believe it, but here I am, having sold my house last year and just had this real connection with the forest, and having explored the fact that somehow I'm a tree goddess and somehow my destiny lies in the forest, and knowing that that would involve buying a van. So I've been hiring a few vans and taking trips just to get a feel for it, just to get a feel for the kind of van that I want. And then this absolute beauty came on the market and I snapped it up. My intentions for this van trip are firstly to see if the van is ready to be named, and I would love for the forest to name my van. So I will certainly be finding a tree and really tuning in to see what name comes. And also I'm really excited about waking up early tomorrow, waking up with the sun and doing a really beautiful morning practice. I've brought my notebook, I brought my headphones for some dancing. I'll certainly be doing some meditation, So that's another intention, because what's so beautiful about being able to wake up in the forest means that you can really greet nature. And I've been waking up at home at about 5 most mornings, and I've been going out into the garden and dancing, and it's been a really powerful practice. So I'm looking forward to trying that really in the centre of the forest and getting a sense of that energy. I associate this tree with my twin flame, so I always like to come and visit it when I'm in the area. And yeah, I had a really nice vision as I connected with the tree just now. I could see myself in a forest walking, but I could see that I was lost, and I could see that I was anxious and I was searching, which is often how I've felt about looking for my twin flame. And in the vision, I could see that there was a man walking behind me, and it really became clear to me that here I was erroneously anxious and searching, when actually my twin flame was just a few meters behind. And I really understood there was an invitation to surrender, this idea of to stop looking with anxiety or with frustration or with real fraught concentration, but to just allow myself to come to a pause and allow myself to be caught up with. And then in the vision, I was in the body of that version of me who'd been walking anxiously, and I felt this idea of real calm surrender, and then I just fell back into the arms of the man who'd been walking behind me. I was also just vaguely tuning in for a name, but I could sense that my mind was quite busy and that I was really trapped in thought. And I sort of got into this real confusion of like, well, what gender is my van? Is it a man? Is it a woman? And I just got a sense to just let all of that go and to just feel into the energy of what the van represents, and a name will come. So I know I've got a little bit of work to do just to let go of mind. I'm very much stuck in mind. I've had a busy week, and I think I need to spend a little bit more time in the forest, just really letting those thoughts go and inviting a bit more space into my head in order for that name to come to me. This is one of the things that I love about being out in nature with Sam, is when he shows up with stuff on his face, because it's such a beautiful reminder of the innocence of animals. There's no vanity there. There's no concern about, have I got something stuck in my teeth, or have I got something on my face? And so I find simply just my daily walk with my dog is so healing, to remind me about the simplicity of just being and not worrying about how we look. Definitely something that I'm really eager to explore more and more, really find that total freedom. And now, while I'm walking through the forest and I'm thinking about the concerns that we have around the way that we look, I'm also reminded about how trees can be such a beautiful teacher of this because of the way that they look. It's more easy to spot when they're not in leaf, so that you can see their trunk formation and their branches and the way their boughs might grow. When the leaves are there, it's harder to see their unbelievable uniqueness. I mean, I'm surrounded by trees, hundreds of thousands probably of trees all around me, and every single one of them looks completely unique. And it's so beautiful to see that. There's no sense of me looking at the tree and being concerned about a deformity, but rather celebrating the uniqueness of how they've come to grow. And there's a couple here that are just so beautiful that I wanted to share with you. So just look at the gorgeousness of the way this branch has grown in a curl or zigzag. It's just absolutely stunning. And there's very little growing on these curly branches, so you can really see them. And then just come down here to have a look at this tree. Oh, look at the way it's growing. It's absolutely fabulous. So magnificent in the way that it's just leaning in this way. And I just love that because it's so beautiful to behold a tree like this, and it just reminds you of how you can behold yourself. And I'm really feeling the lesson today, just to remind me that I too can behold myself as if I am majestic. Back in the van, and Sam's already in his bed, very happily giving himself a good wash. So cute. I'm gonna make some food. I'm gonna keep it really simple tonight. I've actually just brought pre-made food that leftovers from last night. I wanted to just keep this first trip to the forest super simple, so there's not going to be any actual cooking, just eating out of Tupperware. And then just really relaxing. I'm reading a really nice book at the moment, so I'm just gonna really take the evening to relax. Like I said, it's been quite a full week with work. I've been online quite a lot, so I'm just gonna step free from devices and just really enjoy a peaceful evening. Good morning. It's 5, which is usually the time I wake up. And it's been so beautiful to wake up with this view just by my bed. Okay, so we're just heading out for my morning ecstatic dance practice. It's a little after 5 now, which is usually the time I head out into the garden. And I dance for around 45 minutes. It's a beautiful way to connect, to release, to really tune into my body and set the energies up for the day. I'll talk more about ecstatic dance in a separate video, but you'll get a little sneak. And I'm hoping that the name's going to drop in. My mind is really settled now after a beautiful evening in the forest, so I'm hoping that my van's name will be given to me by the trees, and we'll see what else drops in. It's really beautiful out. There's a couple of horses that have gathered around in the night, which I saw just as I opened the van door. So it really feels like I'm in the centre of nature. Okay, let's head off. This is a really beautiful spot for the dance. You can see in the background where the sun is just hitting the trees, so it's directly in line with the rising sun. So towards the end of the dance, I will feel that sun on me. So I'm coming into the dance with an intention to find the name for my van, and also to really honour the forest today as I'm exploring my path as a tree goddess and the way that the trees are communicating with me. I've shown up here with my new van and my new life as a tree apprentice, so it's really to announce my arrival and to offer myself in service to them, and to really ask them to begin to communicate to me the messages that they want the world to receive at this time. So I want to really honour my arrival as their latest student. So let's see what happens this morning.
What a powerful dance this morning. And the name came to me, and it's so incredible because all of yesterday I was in my head and I was trying to think of the name. And when we're in our head and we're trying to think, we're so open to doubt, because the moment we have an idea, the next thought we have is like, is it the right idea? Is it the right name? What if I've picked the wrong name? But as soon as that name comes as an inspirational download from true connection to spirit, there is no doubt. As I was dancing and I was really holding that intention, inviting the name in rather than trying to grasp at it with my mind, but inviting it in with my heart. And the name came, Whisper. And I knew it was the right name because I immediately felt the emotion rising up within me and the tears came because I understood why that name was so profound and why the forest would have given it to me. Because spirit speaks in whispers, the trees speak to me in whispers. And unless I have my dedicated creative and spiritual practice, I'm not going to get quiet enough inside to hear these exquisite whispers that have been coming to me since my burnout. And so I understood that it was both a message and a symbol, and that my van whisper, is a beautiful key to this new way of living that is going to enable me to drop into that still peace that is required so that I can tune into nature and hear its bountiful wisdom.